Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Anubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamalavare Na Kamadbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Drupa Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Nrsimhadev 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 Jai Nrsimhadev 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 Jai Nrsimhadev Jai Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jai Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jai Prahlad Maharaj Shri Shri Nrsimhadev Bhagavan Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Kauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Shunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Prabhakacharya Asadhara Sidhu Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shalesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Raj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Haribo Slava Zavrani Bhakta Slava Shri Guru Shri Granga Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tanamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Bacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskadyade Sudhare. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksuramilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahayam Didati Swapadantikam Pandeham Shigaro Shiyuta Parakamalam Shigarum Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Brijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shiva Sakans Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karna Sindho Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishubhanu Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapa Tuvyascha Kripa Sindhuvyavacha Patidanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, the opulence of the Absolute, text number 40. Nandosti mama devyanam vibhutinam parantapa Esha tudekshita prokta vibhutir vishtaramaya Nandosti mama devyanam vibhutinam parantapa Esha tudeshata prokta vibhutir vishtaramaya Nandosti mama devyanam vibhutinam parantapa Esha prokta vibhutir vishtaramaya Nandosti mama devyanam vibhutinam parantapa Esha tudeshata prokta vibhutir vishtaramaya Na not, nor. Antaha, a limit. Asti, there is. Mama, my. Divyanam, of the divine. Vibhutinam, opulences. Parantapa, O conqueror of the enemies. Esha, all this. To, but. Udeshataha, as examples. Prokta, spoken. Vibhute, of opulences. Vishtaraha, the expanse. Maya, by me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Almighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Purport. As stated in the Vedic literature, although the opulences and energies of the Supreme are understood in various ways, there is no limit to such opulences. Therefore, not all the opulences and energies can be explained. Simply a few examples are being described to Arjuna to pacify his inquisitiveness. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tiramane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vicharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskadyade Siddharana. According to the Padma Purana, Smarta Vyaksarato Vishnu Vismartak Jatuna Kinchit Sarva Vidi Nise Dasyor Etoyor Eva Kinkara. That there is only one rule and regulation. To always remember Krishna and never forget him. Smarta Vyak. That if one can come to the platform of always remembering Krishna, then one has reached perfection. Smarta Vyaksaratam Vishnu Vismartak. But one should never forget him at any time. Sarva Vidi, of all the things we're supposed to do, and the Sedya Asyur, and all the things we're not supposed to do, this is the one thing we should do. Always remember Krishna. And the one thing we should not do is never forget him. Now, in order to do that, we have to give up the idea that there's something outside of Krishna. If we look at anything we don't remember Krishna, then we're in Maya. If we smell anything we don't remember Krishna, then we're in Maya. If we hear something we don't remember Krishna, we're also in Maya. As soon as we stop remembering Krishna, then we must be in Maya. Of course, we're accustomed to be in Maya, so that we think Maya is natural and Krishna consciousness is something extraordinary. But in the spiritual world, there is no such thing as Maya. Now, how to come to that platform? Krishna is trying to tell us that the things that we admire the most are just a fragment of his energy. Know that all beautiful, mighty creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Now, of course, in this chapter, Krishna says, Brihat samadata samnam gayatri chandasamaham masanam marga shirshoham ritanam kusamakraha maharshanam briguraham giram asyakam aksharam jagnanam jagnospi stavranam himalayaha. So many things he declares. We don't see Brigu. We don't probably even know what the Sama Veda sounds like. There are many things here we don't relate to. Of the aquatics, from the shark, kala, kalavatam, chaham, riganam, sarmigendraham, Vaidinam Chapipakshinam Ritinam Kusamakraha. So some things we may relate to, like spring, Prahlada Chasmi Daitanam. Well, we may have some knowledge about Prahlad, king of the Daityas. He's Prahlad. Prahlada's Chaitya Daitanam. Mriganam Chamrigendraham. Of the animals, he's Mrigendra. Not Mrigendra Das, he's Mrigendra. He's a lion. Prahlada's Chaitmi Daitanam, Mriganam Chandraham, Ritinam, no. Prahlada's Chasmi Daitanam, Mriganam Chamrigendoham, Vainatejas Pakshinam. Of all the birds, he's Garuda. And Prahlada's Chasmi Daityanam, Kala Kaliyatamaham. And of time, of all subduers, he's time. Mriganam Chamrigendroham, Vainatejas Pakshinam. So there's things here that we can identify, but the ultimate thing is to see how everything's flowing from Krishna. That nothing is going on except for what Krishna desires. And of course, Krishna is desiring or willing everything to come into being, according to the desire, to fulfill the desires and the karma of the living entities. Now, our idea is not to just remember when we see the sun that Krishna is the sun. Of course, we should do that. But we're not just trying to pick out eventually just individual things and remember them in relation to Krishna, which is good. That's called mantra siddhi. That we hear mantras and we remember Krishna. But eventually we're supposed to come to the mantra upasana, which means remembrance of Krishna flows like a river. Not necessarily just remembering Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, but the first thing we have to remember is how Krishna is related to this world. And the only way of doing that is to have the attitude of service. To always think whatever I'm doing to please Krishna. To come to the platform of at least remembering and accepting that everything here belongs to Krishna. And therefore to do everything with care and attention in order to please Krishna under the directions of Krishna's representatives. Guru, Sadhana, Shastra, and confirmed by the super soul within the heart. If we ask Krishna, is this all right? Then Krishna will help us remember Guru, Sadhana, Shastra. Which are nothing but Krishna speaking outside. Then if we do that, then everything sarva bhutastam atmanam sarva bhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yukta ma sarvatra samadarshnaha yomam pashati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashati tasyaham na pranashami na chamai na pranashati. The true yogi observes me in all beings and sees all beings in me. Indeed, the self-realized soul sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. And for one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I'm never lost to him, nor is he ever lost to me. Sarvabhutastam yomam buddhan ekatmamastita sarvatavatmano no peace and yogi maya varte. That one who knows that the super soul and myself are one, worships me in all beings, and always remains with me in devotional service. Admo pamena sarvatra, samam pashti orjuna, sukham vadi vadukam yogi paramam mataha. That he is a true yogi, O Arjuna, who sees the true equality of all beings, both in their happiness and distress. So everything's flowing from Krishna, and those who accept devotional service, engage in Krishna's service, then one sees Krishna everywhere. and then he becomes free from the miseries of material existence, and everyone else has to suffer. And according to how much they become conscious of Krishna. Therefore, knowing that, when we see something in relation to Krishna, we should remember this is Krishna. But even more important than that is to utilize whatever we have and think that this is Krishna's property. This is Krishna's expansion. Therefore, sometimes we hear how the articles of deity worship are expansions of Balaram, which is certainly greater than a bird in the material world. Mriganam Vainatejas Paksham, even Garuda, Balaram. So we try to see everything as sacred when it's used in Krishna's service. Even our body, when it's used in Krishna's service, becomes spiritualized and sacred. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami that you have to take care of your body because it's being used in my service. Otherwise, if we think it's our body, then we usually use things whimsically. Anything we think is ours, we think we can throw around. One time one devotee was using his foot to move a pillow from one place to the next. And Prabhupada said that pillow is more sacred than your foot. Because it's the attitude of service we're trying to develop, attitude of service to Krishna, and therefore appreciate Krishna's energies as belonging to him and treat them accordingly. But to kickstart that, there's some idea here, Adityanamaham Vishnur, Jyotisam Rava Sumam, Marachiram Maratam Asmi, Nakshatra Aham Shashi. Of the planets in the sky, Krishna says, Adityanam Aham Vishnur, Jyotisam Rava Amsimam. So of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of the lights, I'm the radiant sun. So we have to appreciate that the sun is Krishna's energy. Therefore, it's not different from him. And he put it there very practically to give us heat and light. And of the nakshatras in the sky, he's Shashi. Shashi means rabbit. He's the rabbit in the sky. Which actually means the moon. Because some people think instead of a man on the moon, they think there's a rabbit on the moon. Depends on your point of view. And of all the things, we should think that Krishna and his name are not different. So therefore, when we chant the holy name, we have to enter into the same mood as Krishna. Otherwise, we won't realize the holy name. If we're chanting Hare Krishna and we have a different mood than the holy name, then we'll never experience what the holy name actually is. So we're trying to learn to be in the same mood as Krishna and his internal energy. Then we'll actually, just like we put an iron into fire, it gets hotter and hotter and eventually becomes like fire. So similarly, if we want to enter into water, we have to become like water. If we want to enter into fire, we have to become like fire. If we want to enter into the holy name, we have to become of the same quality as the holy name. And that means to develop the same loving mood as Krishna and his associates. And then we'll be able to experience the holy name is not different from Krishna in proportion to how much we develop that service attitude, that loving service attitude, trying to please Krishna, trying to chant in such a way that it's in the mood of devotion. Care, attention, happiness, love, these are all the things that are just words until we actually try to manifest themselves with our attitude and with the way we're doing things. The minimum is obedience. This body is actually a manifestation of Krishna's energies. And when we utilize this body according to the instructions, then the body becomes spiritualized. And the body becomes spiritualized, then the mind becomes, well, if we work with our mind and intelligence, so therefore if we listen to the instructions and utilize this body in Krishna's service, it becomes spiritualized, our mind and intelligence becomes spiritualized, and we wake up. then the energy that spiritualizes this body and mind, where it also wakes ourselves up. And then the soul grows, gets watered with spiritual energy, and manifests itself eventually as a spiritual body being nourished by the spiritual energy. Like a little spark. When it's outside the fire, it could do many things. None of them very good, though. If it lands on the earth, it eventually starts smoldering, almost extinguishes. Lands on dry grass, it may ignite a fire, another fire. If it lands in the water, it gets extinguished. So if one falls into an animal species, practically speaking, the soul, its consciousness gets extinguished, like the spark falling into water. If it falls on the earth, then it gradually smolders, like the animal life, or even the human beings sometimes. But if it lands in dry grass, then it sparks another fire, like a pure devotee, igniting the Krishna consciousness in others. So now we're coming to the end of the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, saying that everything is Krishna, whatever we see. And if we can't see the big things in relation to Krishna, we probably won't see the small things either. But Krishna keeps on telling us throughout these middle 6 chapters, Rasoham Apsnikondiya, Prabhasti Shasti Suryo, Pranavasara Vedeshu, Shabdake Purusham Nishu, that when we taste water, we should remember Krishna. And by being Krishna consciousness, then everything becomes spiritualized, ecstatic. Even the water becomes ecstatic. Not just because the water is ecstatic, but because when Krishna is there, everything becomes full of, and his internal energy is there, everything becomes ecstatic. So throughout the middle 6 chapters, Krishna is going to remind us. We get to the 11th chapter, it really gets exciting. See Krishna munching on soldiers. Bhishma, try a little karna. So we know Krishna sometimes eats soldiers. But they're all offered. So I'll stop there saying, any questions? Yes?
Hare Krishna. You quoted several verses, and there is one about the wind as the purifier, which sometimes puzzles us. Why of all the purifying things Krishna names the wind, that he of purifiers I am the wind? Do you have some take on this, on the reason why the wind?
Well, why not?
We use usually the water or fire, maybe.
Sometimes. In Ayurveda, there's also wind bathing. That's one of the Shodanas. There's Shodana, and then there's, what's the other one? There's Panchakarma, and there's Shodana. Samana, actually Shodana is Panchakarma, Samana, pacifying. So wind bathing is considered one of the major, 7 major purifying. But what would Krishna already mentioned water before, so he has to give wind some credit too. So Rasoham, I'm the taste in water. Now he's saying is he gives the wind some credit. Yes.
Can I say that the wind, as you mentioned, that it's there in the Ayurveda, pranayama is, we can say, wind-based. If you take into account wind, that a proper application of wind can purify us not only from outside but also inside, and also third canto says even purifies the sin, proper pranayama.
Yeah.
Can we say it like
Yeah,
this?
so many ways. The whole material universe comes out of Krishna's breathing. The Vedas come from his breathing. He breathes out, all the universes come. He breathes in, everything gets really purified. Nothing moves without the wind. So nothing can do anything without wind. Wind is the primary factor in material movement. Even fire depends on wind for purification. Avaduta.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
We missed him.
Yes. Hare Krishna is Avaduta Rai Prabhu saying, from one side we have a statement, Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala. And from other side, Srila Prabhupada says, easy life and successful spiritual life in Krishna consciousness does not go well together. How to reconcile this?
What's the problem? Nityananda's lotus feet are as cooling as 10,000 moons. And you're saying that Prabhupada said we shouldn't be lazy. So we should serve Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. Being active doesn't mean you have to be crazy. You don't have to be active in foolish or active in the mode of passion. You can also be active in the mode of goodness. Or even transcendental. The gopis, they danced with Krishna for the night of Brahma. They were quite active. So activity doesn't mean you have to be in the passion. If you get Lord Nityananda's lotus feet, you can become one of his associates. They raise his feet. They were quite active, dancing and chanting. Yeah.
And second question is, how to see all the Ugra karma surrounding us as Krishna?
All the Ugra karmas around what?
Yeah, that how to see all the Ugra karma surrounding us as Krishna.
Well, Krishna says, Trivira Gunamaya Bhavar, Evik Sarvamidam Jagat, Mohitam Nabijanati, Mamevyak Paramavya. That the three modes of material nature, Trivira Gunamaya Bhavara, Evik Sarvi, they all come from me. But still I'm above them. Trivira Gunamaya Bhavara, Evik Sarvamidam Jagat. Mohitam, the whole material world is diluted by these three modes. But I'm above them. They're infallible and inexhaustible. So these are also Krishna's manifestation. If he can devour all these warriors on the battlefield, fire is coming out of his mouth. He's doing so many things. So there's all Krishna, avoiding people their sinful activities. People want and they deserve something. And so Krishna gives it to them. And it comes in three main flavors: goodness, passion, ignorance. You work in ignorance, then you have to perform simple activities, then you have to work in ugra karma, horrible, unbeneficial works. Anything else? Hvala Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai.